And we're back. So now we're making Saucy Beef Chili. So I'm going to go ahead and dice my onions. So what I did is I quartered them so that it would fit in the food chopper. And I'm just going to pump it. And the blade rotates as you pump it, so you're not pulverizing the same heat. So you're getting an even dice. So we're just going to go ahead and keep going. There we go. We have an onion all diced.
So what's happened is that we just had our 5-meal freezer workshop, but we have 2 more meals that we're showing people from the workshop how to do on their own, but we figured we'd show y'all as well.
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and take my onions over here.
And I'm following. Here we go.
So where I have my ground beef sitting here, so it's still coming up to temperature. You want your ground beef to sit first before you use your mix and chop, and that way you don't have as much sticking to the mix and chop itself. So we're going to go ahead and add our onions that we just diced on our flexible cutting mat. We're going to pour it in.
Love that flexible. Oh, the flexible cutting mat, the small ones, they are the guest special this month. You put in an $80 order and you get the set of small ones for free.
And we're going to add our garlic cloves. So we have our garlic press here. We've been using it, so it's dirty right now. But all you do is you take your clove garlic with the skin still on, like so. And you open it up, and oops, this previous skin is still in here, so just 1 second.
Yeah, okay, so I made the last recipe and I left the skin in there. Sorry, kiddo.
So you put it in here. You want to put it hump side up because then it has a higher tendency to stick to the hammer. And you're just going to squeeze it, and look at all that fresh garlic that came out. You just take your brush and then you just wipe it off. And so we're going to go ahead and do that a couple times. It calls for 1 clove of garlic, but I love garlic, so I always add extra. So
look how fast that works, y'all. And fresh garlic, fresh anything is so much better than anything. If you get the jars that are already chopped or anything else like that, you know that fresh is better.
Mm-hmm. We'll add 1 more. There we go. So there's our garlic. Okay, so now we're just basically waiting on our meat to cook. This is our 12-inch non-stick skillet.
Look how big that is.
Y'all, this is like my favorite pan. I use this all the time, and it's just Cameron and I. We still use the 12-inch pan all the time, so we just love it. It has a lifetime guarantee. It just came back into stock because remember we had an issue with the cookware because our cookware comes from Germany and they were hit really hard with the pandemic. Well, it's back now, so you can actually get this 12-inch. It has a removable handle.
This is so cool. Watch.
It comes off. So it's so much easier to store. This part can go in the oven if you wanted it to. Plus, this pan is dishwasher safe. Like, how awesome is that? Now, like my friend Amy says, I mean, you really feel like you don't even need to clean it. Just take a paper towel and wipe it out. You should wash it still.
Yeah. Amy's watching.
Oh, Amy! I'm just talking about you. And so, like, it's awesome. This is my favorite pan. So there's the 10-inch, this is a 12-inch, and then there's a 10-inch, and also a little baby one as well.
And most important, lifetime
guarantee. So I don't know about you, but when we first got married, we had these pans that were supposedly, going to last forever, and it lasted like 6 months. And we take care of our stuff. But this has an actual lifetime guarantee. So even if it should fail, and we're coming up on a year, and this thing is still working just as great as
I want you to see, how pristine this thing is.
Yeah. And we use this thing all the time. And if something calls for a frying pan, I'm pulling out the 12-inch.
Yep.
So,
but if it does fail, and let's face it, some things are made on Mondays by people with a hangover who had a fight with their wife, and so they fail. If it does fail, there's a cat on the counter. That's Pop-Tart.
Just 1 second. Sorry.
But if it does fail, you just send it back to the company. It's a lifetime warranty, y'all. Okay, so the mix and chop, it's been browning.
So this is our mix and chop. So it's nylon, so you don't have to worry about scratching your pan. Now, I will say that with our nonstick, you can use metal utensils on it. But if you have like a different pan or something, you don't have to worry about scratching because this is, again, nylon. It does have like a little pinwheel, if you can see that. It has a nice sharp edge. You're not going to cut your hand on it, but it is going to get in there and really break up your meat. We're just going to cook up our meat and our onions and our garlic. And again, this is part of our freezer meal workshop we just finished. So we're going to cook this up and then we're going to freeze it. and we have a meal just waiting to be cooked.
Now, one of the keys on the mix and chop that Caitlin has, first, 3 out of every 50 households own one of these things. So that tells you how popular this sucker is. But one of the keys to it that took us a while to learn is that when you put meat in, you let it sit for about 4 or 5 minutes browning before you break it up. Because if you try to break it up too soon, it's going to stick to those spokes and be a hot mess. So you just let it brown. Just resist the temptation.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
But y'all, do you see how, I mean, this isn't even like sticking at all. This is an amazing pan. Like, I mean, and look how thick it is too. I don't know if you can tell on the edge. I don't know how well the camera is, but it has a really nice thick edge. And it has this little lip right here. So when I pick it up in a second, I don't have to worry about trying to balance it with just the handle. I mean, this isn't a whole lot of food, but sometimes this thing is really heavy laden. So I like that I have a second point of contact to carry it, so I don't dump our meal on the floor, which would be very sad. Pop-Tart would be thrilled.
Erica says that you're so delicate with your meat, I break it up aggressively. Yeah.
I'm just a little princess, Erica. I'm just kidding.
A delicate flower.
I'm just kidding. So, almost there. So, and then once this is done, we're going to drain it. And we're actually going to use the fine mesh strainer.
Oh, y'all, I can't wait for you to see that.
You guys, I've had the fine mesh strainer for like a couple months now. And at my first freezing meal workshop beforehand, I was reading like different tips online and stuff. And one person said to use a strainer to drain your meat and then to rinse it with cold water so you get rid of as much grease as possible. Since we're freezing it, you don't want a lot of grease. And I was like, that's so much easier than using a spoon and trying to get the grease out and not the meat, which is how I've always been cooking meat. So, yeah, way easier with the fine mesh strainer. So, almost there. There's a couple more spots of pink. And then we'll move on to the second part.
So this will be the 7th meal that we've made in the last, 2 hours?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also this mix and chop. So, like my mom said, it's one of those popular items. But you can use it for way more than just meat. You can use it to break up stewed tomatoes. You can use it to make guacamole. You can use it to make egg salad. You can use it to make break up strawberries. You know, if you're going to make like a topping for waffles or something. So this is truly a multi-purpose tool. Okay. I don't think more pinks. I think we're good. I'm going to take this over here. And I have my mini oven mitts. So
wait, show it to them.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a sharp.
Alright, come over here. Ignore the dirty dishes if you can see them, because again, we were cooking today. So I'm going to take this lid off of the grease.
That you never want to pour grease down your sink.
Yeah. So wait, just 1 second,
because it can congeal in your pipes and then it will clog your sink. Kim says her husband uses the mix and chop to make scrambled eggs.
So here we have our fine mesh strainer. Now this is awesome because if you're going to put it over a pot, you see this little lip right here? It just hooks directly onto the edge of the pot right here so it can balance itself.
And show them, really put your fist in that so people can see how big this is.
Look how big it is. I mean, this thing's just 1 second.
What?
Cat's on the
it's a cat!
Okay,
wait.
She was doing so well, but dinner's in 10 minutes, and so she's like...
She's over it.
A little concerned. Oh, and by the way, you see these trivets? Brand new spring product, because look, it's actually 3 trivets. I'll grab the other one. There you go. It's 3 trivets in one, but they store together. Isn't that nice?
That is very nice.
So these are the nesting trivets. So put that there. Okay, so now I'm just going...
Tool. Wait, tell them what that is. You're one of your favorite.
Oh, this is the scoop and drain. So speaking of Pop-Tart, I got this back when I hosted my own party in April, because I make our cats chicken stew because they're spoiled.
They are
precious
spoiled.
Angels. And make them chicken stew, so I got this to make it easier, again, rather than just a normal spoon. So this is a great tool if you make a lot of stocks or soups or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump it all in. And then I'm just going to pour the rest of it.
Amy says she wishes she had thought of the strawberries for her waffles this morning. And Kim says the only thing her husband makes is scrambled eggs, with or without cheese. So he makes 2 things, scrambled eggs with cheese and scrambled eggs without. Okay, so you see how that's draining the grease right out of it, y'all.
So we've drained the grease. I'm going to put the lid on. And now I'm just going to run cold water over it. Again, it's going to get rid of as much grease as possible.
That is such a smart idea.
So there we go. And then I'm going to very carefully leave this in the sink.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Well,
Where's the cat?
Yes. Okay. So we're just going to leave that in the sink.
There we go. So we'll just let that strain.
And then meanwhile, we're going to come back over here.
Okay.
And we have... Oh, do you want to come on?
Yep, I'm coming around. All right. All right. There's been a lot going on in this kitchen today.
Okay. So we have our clean freezer gallon size bag. You always want to use the freezer quality because it'd be so sad if your freezer meal got freezer burnt and you can't eat it anymore. So I have a classic batter bowl that I'm going to use to prop it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 2 jars of chili beans with sauce, undrained. Just going to pop them open.
And you'll see how she's bent over those bags so that...
You always want to curl your edges so you don't get food in the track. Because you're never going to be able to seal it if you do that. So then we have our second can.
Oh no. My word.
I'm sorry, guys. Hey, listen, it's only because it's your dinner time.
No one's feeding that cat chili. I don't care what she says.
Anyway, and then we have our 2/3 cup of tomato paste. So Bob already opened this, so I mean it's 2/3. We're just going to call it. This is cooking, not baking, so there's a lot of forgiveness in it. So I'm gonna scrape out. This is the, let me get the tomato off so you can see it. This is my favorite scraper. Okay, it doesn't look very pretty right now, but this is the mini mixing scraper. And y'all, it's awesome. I use this thing for everything. Okay, so we have our tomato paste. And then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of smoky barbecue rub. Now, what y'all might not know about our seasonings is that they're actually multiple seasonings like put together. So you don't have to grab, your onion powder and your garlic powder and everything. You just grab this. Also, they're all non-GMO. I think they're all gluten-free, or at least most of them. Most of them are kosher. Like, they're just like awesome high-quality seasonings. Okay. So we have our chili beans. We have our tomato paste. We have our smoky barbecue rub. Okay, so now I'm going to add the meat mixture. So let me grab a spoon. I might have a little plate, but, it's the end of the day. So this is our silicone and wood spoon. So I'm just going to scoop it into there. Very carefully. And then we're just going to dump the rest of it. So again, this is our ground beef, our onion, and our garlic. Put that there. Okay. And then I'm going to
very carefully,
make sure I seal it up real good. Oops, which I didn't. There we go. And then I'm just going to knead it. And this is so much fun. Like, I don't know about y'all, but did you ever have those little flubber toys, when you were a kid, and it's filled with glitter water and it exploded all over your keyboard? Maybe not that last part, but this always reminds me of it. This is probably my favorite part of making the freezer meals is the kneading it. So you're basically just kneading it so that it's all mixed together real well.
Oh, Kim is saying that all of the seasonings are gluten-free, and Kim knows because that's an issue
Kim.
for her.
Okay, so then we have this all nicely kneaded. So then what we're going, you know what? I forgot the petite diced tomatoes. So just 1 second.
Quick.
Just open, and it's sitting right here.
Tiffany says that kneading is a great stress reliever.
Yes. Gently kneading it.
Gently. Don't get carried away. Don't be Erica.
So your diced canned tomatoes.
There you go.
There we go. I thought we were missing something. It's difficult to read and comprehend while also talking. So, Okay, so let's make that together real fast. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze out as much air as possible. Now, just a tip for you, you always want to store your freezer meals flat. And you never want to put them in the door of your freezer because your freezer door has such a temperature fluctuation that it's not good for it. Okay, so there we have that. And you always want to double bag your freezer meals. And this is for 2 reasons. One, if this gets a hole in it while you're thawing, you don't have to clean your fridge. But also, more importantly, you won't get, what's it called? Freezer burn. You won't get freezer burn because it's double bag. And then we have our handy dandy little cook date instructions, which tells us how to prepare it.
And tells you how far in advance to take it out of the refrigerator.
So we seal that up. And y'all, just that fast, we have a meal done. So this is just an example of our freezer meal workshop. So we'll be doing another one at the end of the month. So hope you guys can join us.
Hope you do. It's a lot of fun.